This week on Vaticano, Pope Francis consecrates Russia and Ukraine to the Immaculate Heart of Mary in communion with all the bishops around the world. Recall with us the Second Secret of Fatima, together with former Holy See Secretary of State, Cardinal Tarcisio Bertone. Dive further into Lenten spirituality by learning about the relics of the Passion of Jesus in Rome. But first, travel with us to Malta, where Pope Francis will be going soon. For this and more, Vaticano starts now. Pope Francis will visit Malta on April the 2nd and 3rd. The motto and theme of this apostolic journey is taken from the Acts of the Apostles and reads, "They showed us unusual kindness." The passage refers to the story of how the Maltese people welcomed St. Paul after he shipwrecked there. It also sheds light on the plight of many migrants who cross the Mediterranean looking for a better life. As part of the tight program, the Holy Father will stop at St. Paul's Grotto, will meet with refugees and will spend time in prayer with the faithful and meet civil authorities.
I am expressing
Cardinal Mario Grech, the former Bishop of Gozo, Malta, is glad that the long-awaited and planned trip has come to fruition.
we have been waiting for this papal visit for 2 years now. I was still a bishop in my diocese of Gozo, where we were already engaged in the preparation for this visit. And then there was enthusiasm. And I can tell you that even today, 2 years away, but there's still enthusiasm. And people are waiting to welcome the Pope. Because not only culturally, no, but the roots of our nation are Christians, no, are Christian, Catholic. And I hope that the Holy Father will help us to encounter Jesus.
St. Pope John Paul II visited Malta twice in 1990 and 2001, and Pope Benedict XVI visited the island in 2010.
Thick darkness has gathered over our squares, our streets, and our cities. It has taken over our lives, filling everything with a defining silence and a distressing void that stops everything as it passes by.
Che paralizza ogni cosa al suo passaggio.
We feel it in the air. We notice in people's gestures. Their glances give them away. We found ourselves afraid and lost.
2 years ago, on March the 27th, Pope Francis appeared alone in front of St. Peter's Basilica. COVID-19 had put the world in lockdown. Faced with a deadly virus that back then we didn't much understand, the Holy Father decided to give an extraordinary Urbi et Orbi blessing to the city and the world.
Perché avete paura?
Why are you afraid? Have you no faith? Dear brothers and sisters, from this place that tells of Peter's rock-solid faith, I would like this evening to entrust all of you to the Lord through the intercession of Mary, health of the people and star of the stormy sea.
2 years later, COVID-19 is still present, but it seems to have lost its fearsomeness. Many countries are loosening coronavirus prevention regulations and are returning back to normal. The pandemic is not yet over, but it's less threatening to the world than it was just 2 years ago.
From these colonnades that embrace Rome and the whole world, may God's blessing come down upon you as a consoling embrace. Lord, may you bless the world, give health to our bodies and comfort our hearts. You ask us not to be afraid.
Hello and welcome to this week's Vatican Updates, the most important news from the Holy Father and the Vatican. On the Feast of St. Joseph, the Vatican published a long-awaited document implementing Pope Francis's reform of the organization and structure of the Roman Curia. The Apostolic Constitution Predicate Evangelium, Preach the Gospel as it is called in English, underlines that from now on any member of the faithful can lead one of the newly constituted Vatican dicasteries or other governing bodies. Predicate Evangelium replaces Pastor Bonus, the Apostolic Constitution on the Roman Curia, promulgated by Pope John Paul II on June 28, 1988, and later modified by both popes, Benedict and Francis. It will take full effect on June 5th in the solemnity of Pentecost. Vatican Radio increases its shortwave broadcasts to Ukraine and Russia. In addition to the 2 daily broadcasts in 2 languages, the morning programs to Moscow and Kiev will last 20 minutes longer. This decision was taken in order to bring hope, the Pope's words, and the reading of facts through the light of the Gospel to the whole world. The Vatican financial trial is continuing. In a new hearing, former Cardinal Angelo Becciu took the stand for the first time, and he told the judges that he declares total availability to seek and to tell the truth, and that he's not afraid of it. Angelo Becciu was the second-ranking official at the Secretariat of State from 2011 to 2018. He now faces charges of embezzlement, abuse of office, and subornation of perjury. The Augustinian Recollect celebrated the 400th anniversary of the first general chapter. The event recalled the history of the order from its foundation in 1588. The congregation had the desire for an intensification of contemplative and community life. It was made definitively autonomous from the Order of St. Augustine in 1911 by Pope Pius X. Pope Francis received Lebanese President Michel Aoun for an audience. He's at the end of his 5-year mandate as president. During the 25-minute-long meeting, the Lebanese president invited, once again, Pope Francis to visit the country. Coming back from the apostolic trip to Iraq, Pope Francis told journalists that he wishes to visit Lebanon. However, there's no official date for the visit. And coming up, from April the 2nd to the 3rd, Pope Francis will visit Malta. In addition to meeting with government officials and the diplomatic corps, the Holy Father will visit the grotto of St. Paul. Pope Francis will also meet migrants on the island. Thank you for watching for this week's Vatican Updates, and enjoy the rest of Vaticano.
Unfortunately, the violent aggression against Ukraine does not stop.
Un massacro insensato,
A senseless massacre,
dove ogni giorno
where every day there is a repetition of slaughter and atrocities.
non c'è giustificazione per questo.
There is no justification for this.
The Holy Father continues to appeal for peace in Ukraine and is using all the resources the Holy See has to seek it.
Anche questa settimana
This week, again, missiles and bombs have fallen on civilians, the elderly, children, and pregnant mothers.
le madri incinte. Io sono andato a trovare I bambini feriti.
I went to see the wounded children who are here in Rome. One was missing an arm, one had a head injury. Innocent children. I think of the millions of Ukrainian refugees who must flee, leaving everything behind. And I feel a great pain for those who do not even have the possibility to escape.
Non hanno nemmeno la possibilità di scappare.
Per implorare da Dio il dono della pace in Ucraina e per chiedergli di
Holy See Secretary of State Cardinal Pietro Parolin is also busy working for peace. He's in contact with the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and with the diplomatic corps accredited to the Holy See. In a Mass for Peace, he said that peacemakers resemble God. And in an interview with EWTN News in Dubai, Cardinal Parolin shared the Holy See's message.
The message of the Holy See, of the Holy Father, is to stop the war. The first is to stop the weapons because they are causing a lot of casualties, a lot of damages, a lot of misery in Ukraine, especially targeting the people, most vulnerable people. Then this is the message, and the second message is to start to negotiate. Knowing that there is always an honorable solution if we want. I insist on that. We are not to defeat anybody. In diplomacy, we speak about the win-win solution, no? That everybody is satisfied of the conclusion of the negotiation, which is okay, it is only a formula. But I think that there is always space just to achieve something which is of satisfaction for everybody, and also in this situation.
On March 25th, Pope Francis consecrated Russia and Ukraine to the Immaculate Heart of Mary, renewing the consecration done by his predecessors, Pope St. John Paul II, Pope St. Paul VI, and Venerable Pope Pius XII. In the second so-called Secret of Fatima, Our Lady made a precise request for Russia to be consecrated to her Immaculate Heart. Sister Lucia describes this in her third memoir of August the 31st, 1941, written by order of His Excellency the Bishop of Leiria Fatima and the Most Holy Mother.
You have seen hell where the souls of poor sinners go. To save them, God wishes to establish in the world devotion to my Immaculate Heart. If what I say to you is done, many souls will be saved, and there will be peace. The war is going to end, but if people do not cease offending God, a worse one will break out during the pontificate of Pius XI. When you see a night illumined by an unknown light, know that this is the great sign given you by God, that He is about to punish the world for its crimes, by means of war, famine, and persecutions of the Church and of the Holy Father. To prevent this, I shall come to ask for the consecration of Russia to my Immaculate Heart, and the communion of reparation on the first Saturdays. If my requests are heeded, Russia will be converted, and there will be peace. If not, she will spread her errors throughout the world, causing wars and persecutions of the Church. The good will be martyred, the Holy Father will have much to suffer, various nations will be annihilated. In the end, my Immaculate Heart will triumph. The Holy Father will consecrate Russia to me, and she shall be converted, and a period of peace will be granted to the world.
Sister Lucia said that Our Lady had asked for the consecration of Russia to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. So how did the popes, in particular Pius XII and John Paul II, respond to this request?
Pope Pius XII was the first to consecrate the world to the Immaculate Heart of Mary at the height of the war in 1942. Then, 10 years later, with the very beautiful apostolic letter Sacro Vergente Anno, he consecrated precisely the peoples of Russia.
poi Giovanni Paolo II. Giovanni Paolo II prima a Fatima.
John Paul II consecrated Russia, first in Fatima in 1982, and then in Rome on March the 25th, 1984, during the extraordinary Holy Year of the Redemption. He does so without mentioning Russia, and this is an observation that some critics make. However, the references to Russia are evident. The Pope, out of respect for the Orthodox world, I believe, did not want to explicitly mention the word Russia. The reference, however, is very clear in the two consecrations of Pius XII and in the above-mentioned Apostolic letter of Pius XII. There is an equivalent expression, I consecrate you. We can read in the text of John Paul II, who has a beautiful invocation, the peoples whose consecration you await. And so there is this corresponding expression. It says so in the very solemn, very beautiful consecration prayer.
Nella preghiera una consacrazione molto solenne, molto bella, Madre della Chiesa.
Mother of the Church, enlighten the people of God on the paths of faith, hope, and charity. Enlighten especially the people whose consecration and entrustment you await. Help us to live in the truth of the consecration to Christ of the entire human family of the contemporary world. Sister Lucia, whether questioned by her superior or by myself, would testify to Our Lady's full satisfaction with this formula of consecration and would say, Como Nossa Senhora a pediu, as Our Lady requested.
Como Nossa Signora a pediu, come ha richiesto Nostra Signora.
Hello and welcome to this travel video. Last time we showed you how to incorporate the 40 Linton Station Church pilgrimage into your tourist itinerary. This time we're going to flip the script and show you how to take reciting a prayer, the Way of the Cross, and bring that into a travel experience. So we're going to start here right at the Colosseum. This dedication on the exterior indicates that for the Jubilee year of 1750, Pope Benedict XIV dedicated the Colosseum to the Passion of Christ and Christian martyrs. And this year, Pope Francis will lead the Via Crucis at the Colosseum on the evening of Good Friday. We are on the Gianicolo Hill next to the Church of San Pietro in Montorio. Just around the corner is a great place to understand how this prayer works. The Via Crucis is divided into 14 sequential moments or scenes of Jesus' Passion, beginning with his condemnation to death at the palace of Pontius Pilate, leading all the way to his entombment in the Holy Sepulchre. While this path principally marks a spiritual journey, the tradition originated in Jerusalem, with early Christians walking the course that Jesus made in Jerusalem, on the road to Calvary. From the Holy Land, Christians brought the tradition of the Way of the Cross to other places around the world. Rome and the Holy Land are connected in even more ways due to the presence of relics of Christ's Passion, which are said to have been brought here by Empress Helena, the mother of Emperor Constantine, in the 4th century. 3 churches that hold these relics are in the neighborhood of San Giovanni. The first on our list is the Papal Basilica of St. John Lateran. While this is known primarily as the seat of the Bishop of Rome and the first constructed of the 4 major basilicas, it also holds a major relic in a side chapel to the left of the main altar. Just above this altar, that holds the Blessed Sacrament, is a large fragment of a wood table, which, according to tradition, is a piece of the table of the Last Supper of Jesus and the 12 Apostles. Across the street from the basilica is this chapel, which used to be adjoined to the Papal Lateran Palace and the basilica. Inside is a set of marble steps, known as the Holy Stairs, or Scala Sancta. Tradition has it that Jesus had climbed these steps on the day of his Passion. These crosses on the marble protect and preserve dried drops of blood that fell from our Lord. Today, pilgrims make this journey on their knees to participate in Christ's suffering. Our final location is just a few minutes walk down the road at the Basilica of Santa Croce in Jerusalem, or Holy Cross of Jerusalem. To the left of the nave, one enters through a corridor which takes one to the Chapel of Relics. In a special case, we find parts of the true cross. One of the nails used during Jesus' crucifixion, 2 thorns from the crown of thorns, the phalanx of St. Thomas's finger, and the Titulus Crucis. A copy of the Shroud of Turin, the linen in which Jesus was wrapped in the tomb, is also on display next to the chapel. We're just about to cross the bridge to make our way to St. Peter's. If you're here at any point during the year, you can in fact participate in the praying of the Via Crucis every Friday at the Vatican in St. Peter's Basilica. Thank you for joining us on this tour. We're going to leave you now with some images of these statues carved by Gian Lorenzo Bernini in the 17th century, each angel holding an instrument of the Passion.